Does hard work actually beat talent? Zaka from Gachiakuta aims to prove this, and this is shown through numerous losses which he painstakingly bounces back from. But even most recently, he's still losing, and these losses only grow more dire. Though this makes Zanka into an excellent, relatable character. Failure is what builds you, and Zanka is proof that if you push through failure, you too can become great. This video is of course all about Zanka, so thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Zanka first appears in chapter 4 when Rudo grabs a strange stick. A stick he uses to pin a cat down. Don't ask. You see, the stick is very important because it belongs to someone. Our main guy is Zanka, and he appears very angry at the fact Rudo has just stolen this very specific stick. He snags it back and caresses it, brandishing it in all its glory as the wooden stick transforms into a full-fledged staff, his vital instrument. And with this, it all makes sense. Of course Zanka is incredibly mad. He just thinks Rudo stole his precious thing. Rudo then has a moment of clarity and apologizes. Zanka's mood flipping in an instant as he extends a hand, even calling Rudo's gloves mad cool. I agree Zanka, they are mad cool. Now since they're having a nice moment, Rudo tries to answer Zanka with a smile. Oh god. Yeah, Rudo can't smile at all. Him telling Zanka he's just helping the cleaners till he reaches his goal. All with the worst face possible. This makes Zanka angry. He tries again, but this might be even worse, leaving Zanka to take it as Rudo trying to make a big joke about everything. Both of them now stare each other down as they realize they just won't get along. Though, the pipe in Rudo's hand then activates like an instrument, Zanka realizing Rudo can transform anything into a vital instrument. He calls this cheating before revealing a peculiar character trait, saying if innate talent is all he's got, then it'll never be ordinary him in a fight. He makes it obvious, but innate talent makes Zanka angry. He doesn't like people who just are powerful naturally. This is also stated right after being upset, thinking Rudo is joking about everything. It tells us one thing about Zanka. He doesn't like Rudo much, but he basically already said that. Zanka slams Rudo with his staff, toying with him as he pushes him back, finally slamming him to the floor before screaming? Oh god, Rudo is a plunger. That dark substance? It's poo. Zanka runs away screaming before Engine rolls in, dying laughing as he states Zanka is the closest he gets to a spoiled rich kid. Interesting. Engine then announces that Zanka will be Rudo's teacher. He's one of the best givers when it comes to handling vital instruments. That's a big compliment, but side note, it makes Zanka really happy. It's kind of adorable. But yeah, that's Zanka. His design is really cool and his personality is, well, interesting already. I personally am a big lover of his design though. It's rebellious feeling and very complex. He's one of the best examples of how much Urana's designs stick out. I wonder how long it takes her to draw everyone. Zanka is also introduced as a rival as teacher character for Rudo. I mean, they literally state that they pretty much don't like each other. And everything just points to those type of characters that are going to be at each other's necks for the whole series. But the rival thing really dissipates as he gets a handle on who Rudo is as a character. This all occurs as Zanka is brought on the next mission, learning of another possible spherite that turns out to be a trap. Zanka is left to fight the two raiders, them quickly summoning mud dolls. Zanka realizes it's because of the woman's shovel-like vital instrument, yet as he destroys one of the dolls, the other raider comes from inside. This proves quite a peculiar tactic, and while at first Zanka struggles, taking some hits and even falling into quicksand, all he needed was some time. Zanka realizes the other raider's vital instrument is his snowshoes. The lady will make mud, he can traverse it super easily. They make for a super cute couple, yet it's not enough to beat Zanka. He states he knows everything about his instrument, weight, scent, he even talks to it, showing how important care is when it comes to these things, all before slamming the ground and feeling out his staff's vibrations. This gives him the ability to sense which mud doll is weightier, allowing him to easily one-shot both the raiders. If they hadn't used those silly tactics, Zanka would have had it harder. He states this all before he's stabbed in the back by this creepy thing. Just kidding, it's Jabber. We love Jabber here. Anyways, Zanka is knocked out as Rudo is forced to face this threat, doing everything in his power to battle till he's cornered. Thankfully, Zanka strikes Jabber down, ready to get his well-earned get back. The thing is, everything is still in Jabber's favor. Zanka is still a bit iffy from the poison. He may say, "Don't underestimate average Joe, Mr. Innate Talent," but you can tell Zanka's hurting. And so, having watched the battle, he's hatched a plan. He wants to hit Rudo. Let me explain this one. Charm redirects attacks. If he hits Rudo, he'll be flung. If he does that with the long staff, he can catch Jabber and easily beat him. And surprise, knowing Jabber knocked himself out with poison and got crazy, this too actually works. Zanka looks just as stunned as me. Jabber takes a series of heavy hits to the head, finally waking up as the duo lands their final blow. Though Jabber quickly wakes to reveal he's won this fight. Both of them are down due to his poison, him walking up to Zanka to almost flex his victory. He tells him all about his power with a huge smile, before jumping away saying, "See you later, Mr. Bad Attitude." While we were made to think Rudo was Zanka's rival, well, Jabber is here, and him and Jabber's rivalry goes crazy. Zanka is like a rich, spoiled brat, and Jabber is just unhinged. I think it's perfect. Though, with this encounter, Zanka has realized Rudo isn't all talk as he had once assumed. It told him that he's actually willing to work and get his hands dirty. He had thought Rudo was only special because of a special power, but now he has come to respect him. At first, Zanka also seemed like a rival, but from here on out he'll be more so of a teacher and trusted comrade, one always there for Rudo. Alas, this bond being formed tells us one big thing about Zanka. He really respects hard work. We're shown this later as he helps Rudo learn about his instrument, acting as a teacher. Also, he again gets really happy when being praised. Dude just loves his compliments, can't blame him. Though in the next arc, he doesn't do that much besides fight a scorpion trash beast in the sickest way possible, do some heavily approved aura farming, and be the only one not hit by Tamsi's vital instrument ultra attack. Love that guy Tamsi. But Zanka really gets active in the next Trash Storm arc, where Rudo and the Cleaners are sucked into a 5v5 against the Raiders, and you'd never guess who Zanka fights. It's our boy Jabber, his rival. The two clash instantly, a beast against a beast, both set on being the last man standing. Jabber keeps his wicked facial expressions up as he mocks the bubbling poison in the arena. And I just have to say, this already looks pretty horrible to Zanka. How unlucky do you gotta be to end up in a poison arena with the dude who loves this stuff? Jabber touches the poison too. It burns the shit out of him. Regardless, he just covered his claws in some new poison. Poison which he tries to flick at Zanka. Yet he pushes his staff under the ground and flips a piece of earth straight at Jabber. Like, how's that stick, not snapped in half? With this, Jabber is crushed and Zanka walks around. He knows it wasn't that easy, and he's right. Jabber laughs like a maniac as he springs out of the ground, leaving Zanka with a face of pure fear as he reveals the real form of his vital instrument. He yells out that Zanka must be like him, looking for someone he can go all out against, someone he doesn't have to hide his true strength from, someone he can show his brutality to. Zanka looks to the floor and sighs, but he's already out of tricks. He remarks that Jabber is another one of them. He's another genius. How can he beat someone like this? When people say they're a genius, it's normally a bluff. But he can tell Jabber's legit by the look in his eyes. No matter where he goes, it's all the same. They say, there's no way an average Joe can beat innate talent. But he yells. That's what makes beating him so damn satisfying. Zanka is astonishingly average. At least that's what he seems to think of himself. In the face of a genius, he's out of tricks, sighing in frustration. But it would seem that even if that really is the case, he aims to break the mold, prove that even an average Joe can beat a genius. This really explains why he respected Rudo's hard work, and why he seems to work hard himself. Engine introduced him for being the best with his instrument. That hard work makes a lot of sense now. Regardless, he fights back with more ambition than ever before. He dodges Jabber's monstrous claws, pushed back and forced on the defensive as no opening ever appears. He's forced to even push himself into the sky, and when Jabber becomes a claw whirlwind, he can only block. All considered, this is really rough for Zanka. I mean, Jabber is the definition of overpowered. One touch and his poison ends the fight. All while Zanka has a stick. Not to mention, he's a cleaner. They fight trash beasts, not humans. Zaka then takes a devastating ribcage crushing kick, forcing him to the ground. Zanka tries his best to move from this spot, but in an instant Jabber is atop him, claws at his throat. But Zanka catches the instrument with his teeth, grabbing his staff and sending it straight into Jabber's side, crushing his ribcage as well, all before punching him in the same spot. Zanka refuses to let up, barreling towards him with his staff while yelling he'll reach his level, ready to end this as he sends a kick straight to Jabber's jaw. Yet while flying back, Jabber wildly swings his claws, just barely hitting Zanka. It sends him to the ground, Jabber walking up maniacally as he reveals Zanka's been hit with a really bad poison, stabbing him once more as Zanka's assist staff returns to normal, meaning it's over. Jabber's poison has given intense hallucinations, sending Zanka into a flashback of his past. It's revealed Zanka's of royal blood, his family among the rank of Hell Guards, the people responsible for governing the ground. Think like the ground's official police force. Zanka is currently in training at this time, and among talks of a new recruit, we're given the impression that Zanka is very gifted. His peers will look at him stating he isn't like the rest of them. His family is elite, Zanka doesn't buckle under pressure, and he's always at the top of the class. His peers walk away stating they can't do anything about it. They're average Joes and you can't beat a genius no matter how hard you try. Zanka, overhearing this, smiles maniacally. Damn right they can't. He isn't on the same level. They have no idea how hard he works while they aren't looking. He'll take first place without breaking a sweat. Yet this year was particularly different. Everything was about to change for Zanka. You see, Zanka wants to be first place so he can get a seat on something known as the Golden Throne, a position given every year to the most outstanding trainee. And until this moment, it was all Zanka's, but now he's been beat by Hio, the new girl. She's from the slums, her style is unorthodox, and she's cold. Everybody already has bad impressions of the girl who goes on to topple the class, even Zanka. But he's the only one to take his loss respectfully. Though out of sight, he's angry, so angry he bleeds, her walking up to reveal she doesn't care one bit about this Golden Throne. It's just a chair you sit in so people can say you're amazing. This leaves Zanka wide-eyed, stating that when the real deal comes along, fakes fall apart in the most obvious ways. They copy, they steal, they badmouth. It makes Zanka sick. But what makes him sickest of all is a fake who thinks he's different from the fakes, aka himself. The day he realized that this was him was when it was time to pick their weapons, and Zaka thought he was so special he picked an ordinary stick. Sure, it was to be secretly powerful, but in reality, that thing wasn't even meant to be there. It was a mistake on the coordinators. To top it off, the real genius, the one that beat him, Hio, picked an ordinary katana. With this, he stuck himself at the bottom of a well for days, realizing he is nothing more than a loser. There's nothing an average Joe like him can do to be a genius. Yet the man speaking to him from up top tells him to be an average Joe better than a genius. He can tell that Zaka wants to keep going despite his words. He still hangs on to that stick. That means something. And with this, everything he's saying is a good thing. Because when you recognize your weaknesses, you can get stronger. The man is revealed to be Engine, him asking Zanka to show him that an average Joe can surpass a genius. With this backstory, it all comes together. Zanka's urge to prove average Joes can surpass a genius is because he was forced to realize he wasn't all that special. He too is an average Joe. Zanka said it himself, he was a fake, trying to be a real deal genius when he wasn't. And in the face of the genuine article, he shattered. Understanding he is an average Joe that could surpass a genius, Zanka had to accept he'd just need to work hard, resulting in his vital instrument's mastery and his respect towards those who work hard. Though upon realizing this all, Zanka had quite an interesting reaction, jumping into a well and self-deprecating. It reads as if he's never had a moment where he's failed. It's likely, being the kid brought up in royalty, Zanka has had an easy path due to his family, and in this moment I feel like Zanka probably felt like he couldn't turn to them. Not only are expectations high as we've seen from how others view him, but as we'll later see, his family is rather cold and strict. I wouldn't be surprised if Zanka was ashamed and knew he'd be likely disciplined even if he's only number 2. It's quite sad. He burrowed into this well because he was scared of the repercussions and had nobody to turn to. He was embarrassed about how badly he failed. Though, this is why Enjin's words hit so hard. He was a random person who had so much care for him, even though he really didn't have to. Then, to make it a bit sadder, Zanka freaks out with any sort of compliment, like he's never had any, meaning he probably wasn't appreciated. It's a surefire symptom of insecurity, meaning he also burrowed into the well because he's insanely insecure. Insecure about his feelings of being inferior. Though with this, the rest of Zanka's story is answered. He became a cleaner due to Enjin, to prove that an average Joe can surpass a genius, and you can assume that's why he respects Enjin so much. He helped him find his path. Zanka is a hard work beats talent type of character, and I gotta say, him being similar, he reminds me of Rock Lee in the best way possible. I grew up with Naruto, just let me have this one. Though I bring up a comparison to say Zanka really stands out in this archetype, as it isn't just about working hard and proving yourself when it comes to him. There's also layers of insecurity and an inferiority complex. Zanka not only struggles with compliments and affirmation, but he constantly calls himself average even though he's clearly worked hard for his strength. I mean, he has a whole vital instrument, like, dude, be proud of that. But alas, no matter what you say, anyone says, he cannot leave this headspace behind. To him, he is below or completely average. This works in like a fan's favor though, as it makes us really want to root for him. Plus him being goofy and frankly a bit awkward makes him just, well, lovable. You just can't hate Zanka. Zanka climbs from the well as he stands back up against Jabber, calling his staff back to him as he states he'll prove it. He'll show Jabber the powers of an average Joe. Oh, but it was still an illusion. Jabber is sitting right next to him, gleefully enjoying his poison, all before he readies to finish Zanka. But thankfully, Ryo finds him and shoots Jabber, which, WTF, that's a whole nother conversation. Anyways, he's saved, and, not dying with the trash beast. Which is crazy. If she didn't find him here, well, Zanka would have died. Zanka reappears as Rudo intends to bring him flowers. Jabber's poison was so vile, they couldn't get it all out of his system. And while Rudo worries, Enjin is sure this is nothing. He states Zanka's climbed out of rock bottom before. He'll do it again. Zanka has fought his weaknesses and crawled back up. If he can fight against himself, it'll take more than Jabber to beat him. It's then Remlin shows up, revealing that when they all got protection spells way back, Remlin actually put a silly one on Zanka, all because he looked the most serious. This means that if Tamsi's ultra attack way earlier included Zanka, well, we wouldn't be having this moment. He would be dead. His arm then grows to an inflated balloon, and while they all expect Zanka to be angry, he's serious, he just laughs. This is exactly what he needed, a good laugh. It's a moment of clarity, as Zanka states he's just not good enough. No sorry is gonna help him, no feel better, because he knows the way to heal is to use it all as encouragement. He looks to Rudo. He better not be ready to pity him. He'll toss him right out. Zanka states that he can't blame Remlin for his shortcomings. He was fighting for real and got beat the worst. He was completely and utterly useless. He just has to get stronger. That'll make the problem go away. Zanka is set on working so hard he can't lose, and he knows that by blaming others and accepting pity, it'll amount to nothing. And this is the one thing I love so much about Zanka. While other characters in manga will lose and that'll be it, they'll be a stepping stone for another's growth, Zanka's losses result in no one's growth but his, the way it should be. Zanka loses and he grows as a result. It's very simple, but a great lesson. No loss is too big to learn from. You get hit back harder by learning. Rudo leaves, the room left to just Engine and Zanka, and after freaking out over Engine's get well gifts, again, it's like nobody has ever been nice to him, they speak of Rudo. Zanka states that if Rudo's goal is to get revenge while having fun, he'll need to figure out what he's forgetting. This inspires him to get up, finding Rudo staring at an upset Remlin, asking him, "Are you gonna look for ammo or what?" They had a moment, they said they were gonna reach out, and so Rudo better get started. Zaka now pointing to Remlin. This to say, Rudo made a promise to Ammo. He needs to look for her while working on that promise. Remlin is right in front of him upset. This is his chance to reach out. If he wants to make it to the spear while keeping everyone alive and having fun, then he surely needs to learn how to do this. Zanka is a great teacher. I just wanted to make this apparent. His own losses don't mean he wants to drag others down. Pretty much the opposite. Look how he treats Rudo. But with this, Zanka moves in the background, the only glimpse of him for a while being Folo's backstory, where we see him shortly after he joined the cleaners. Zanka jumped in, dodged this huge trash beast, and chopped it to bits with little effort, Engine quickly congratulating him, leaving him super happy. Though this is where I want to speak of the Hell Guards, as they are bound to be a huge part of Zanka's tale, their family after all. Zanka's sister, Kyoka Nijiku, is introduced as she meets Corvus, making it apparent that she's very strict and cold. She tries to imprison Rudo for simply coming from the spear, and though she was just seeking info, what everyone is literally doing, she was willing to use ruthless tactics till Corvus shut her down. She then goes on to kill a raider, stating this is why she warned Zanka to not be a giver. Also, this guy in the background, don't forget him, is Zanka's older brother, Goka. There's also several moments that highlight that she hates Engine, implying it's his fault Zanka joined the cleaners. All this to say, their family seems a bit, well, obviously constrained, but cold, strict, and very upset with Zanka. It's overall not the best looking situation. But alas, everything gets rolling again as the doll festival rapidly approaches. We watch Zanka strike down a trash beast instantly, him thinking that this just isn't enough. He's still inferior to Hio, before he's introduced to the doll festival. At first, he tries to say he isn't going, but well, Engine is, so of course he'll show up. Though as this happens, something weird unveils itself. Upon throwing away the flyer, a woman Zanka just barely picks it up, revealing it's Hio, the girl from the academy. Interesting. And I think you can assume that she's not even a Hellguard anymore. Zanka and the cleaners arrive to the festival where he quickly realizes his brother is in town, which is strange. The Hellguards wouldn't be around unless something big is happening. And well, something big happens. Maimo unveils his plot to control the world, and the second his lackeys appear, Zanka's on the scene. Zanka jumps into battle Gil, dodging and deflecting every single one of her baseball-like bullets. All as he reveals this isn't anything new for him. Sure, he was part of a special family, but his genius sister put him through hell. She taught him to dodge gunfire by playing dodge bullet, which is... yeah, what the hell? Gil dashes away as Zanka throws his staff at her blowing it back as he listens to her wanting to hit a dude's balls. What? Yeah, this fight is out of control, especially as Zanka deflects every ball mid-air. Even if they continuously follow him, he cuts them in half. Gil thinks on Zanka. He's casually slicing through high-speed ballistics. That's not what an average Joe does. She mistakes him for a snotty elite kid, but Zanka is ready to prove her wrong. Rio and Felix's battle heats up and ends up right in front of Zanka. Ryo asking for backup and Zanka helping her hold the giant ball barrier back, before she's able to slice it in half. Their combined effort splitting the ground and allowing Zanka to knock Gil out instantly. Zanka is noted to be insanely strong, as she said, casually slicing through high-speed ballistics, and I'd agree, that is not normal, especially for someone whose weapon is a stick. In reality, I think Zanka is a lot stronger than he gives himself credit for, and I think, in reality, his stick is also a lot stronger than he gives it credit for. This stick could be so much grander of a vital instrument, but I think Zanka is unintentionally limiting it. If Zanka views himself as very inferior, his vital instrument, an object basically attached to his soul, is also going to be considered inferior. So that's something to look forward to. Zanka is definitely going to somehow get a stronger instrument in the future. So, I'm excited. After this, Maimo quickly goes down, Zanka's brother Goka leading the Hellguards to back up the cleaners. Though to everyone's horror, Maimo transforms. He transforms into a beast beyond human horrors. And while this isn't a video about him, I will see him and what happens next in my nightmares. Maimo approaches Goka, staring at him as he turns away, heading to face Zanka. The Hellguard dashes towards his sibling as Maimo impales Zanka with the flick of a finger. The horror can only remind Goka of a scene with his sister. She told him to stop comparing himself with Zanka. It's good if he sees Zanka's qualities as bright, but he needs to stay focused on what's in front of him. The two of them aren't the same, but they are each given equally good qualities. This is clearly before Zanka had left, and this implies Goka was at one point jealous of his younger brother. He's the middle child, and so he probably feels like he can't stand out between the two of them. Considering his sister is the leader of the Hellguards and his younger brother at this point is an academy genius, well, he's probably in an awkward spot. She urges him to embrace his own qualities and defend Zanka's. Even if he leaves them one day, never look away from him. Presently, Zanka falls backwards, blood exploding from the hole in his chest, before he strikes back with all his might. Kyoka from the past stating Zanka's special quality is his inexhaustible flame. It consumes his inept past, and as he struggles to break from that past, it leads him to evolve. Zanka yells that they can beat Maimo as he falls, Goka approaching him as he appears to almost cry, saying, "It's always him that is beat. Why is it always him?" He calls Zanka pathetic. This is what's become of the man who refused to live up to their expectations. He picks Zanka up. He's only doing this because Kyoka asked him to. He will report to her about his incompetence. Goka assures Rudo that Zanka would never die from something like this as he leaves. So yeah, that's the end of Zanka for now. Another loss. But again, I must remind you, Zanka's character isn't a punching bag. Zanka is a character crowned by his inferiority complex. Becoming someone strong because he considers himself lesser is what he's all about. He has accepted that he isn't a genius like his royal family would insinuate. Rather, he's an average Joe that feels he needs to prove himself, doing so through hard work, almost to an unhealthy degree. All in all, this is a very basic concept, hardworking character out to prove himself. But I think Zanka is put together very well. By now, most characters would have won, so to say already, their hard work paying off. But Zanka constantly loses, and we have yet to have a moment where it all pays off. Though with every loss, it's like Zanka learned something, making every single loss he takes, even if it's terrible, feel very rewarding by the end of it. It's a very well thought out formula. It makes you want to root for him. But not only this, it's generally a very good lesson. You aren't going to take one loss and magically be where you need to be. Growing is a process of many defeats before you reach your goal. And Zanka is proof of this in a character, and as I said before, I think it's very well done, even if right now it feels like a lot of losses. His most recent scene highlights another one of those devastating losses, as well as setting up the idea that Zanka's family situation isn't as simple as strictness and brutal expectations. Here we learn that feelings of jealousy and inhumane brutal training was involved. And while I want to hope she loves Zanka like a brother, Kyoko referring to them as traits makes them seem like objects to her, illustrating that every member of the family seems to have their own unique issues. Of course though, we can't forget about Hio. What's up with her? I assume she's no longer a Hellguard. How is that going to wrap back into Zanka? And of course, him. I think this very well could end up being a breaking point. For the first time, he's questioned why it's him that always loses. His face swelled up, about to cry, with the hole in his chest. Not to mention, he has been saved and taken by the family he left. This has gotta hurt and be beyond, well, terrible to him. It's like his hard work he's been putting in is for nothing. Not only on a level of personal growth, battling against that inferiority complex, but when it comes to his issues against his family, he's back right where he started. I do think it would be astonishing if after a series of losses, this one being the most dire so far, him hitting an all-new rock bottom, he crawled back finally for a victory. I think this might be that time. I think this is the breaking point Zanka needs for his first big win. But what do you think? Do you think the next arc will revolve around him and his family? Or will he simply fade into the background for a little while again? Let me know, and thank you for watching.